everybody, it's Saskia here from Little Bunny Bakers. Thank you so much for joining me today for Let's Bake Raspberry and Apple Crumble Slice. Raspberry and Apple Crumble Slice has been on my baking wish list forever. I used to see it when I was out and about or when other people made it and think, oh, I'd love to learn to make that. So I'm really excited that during this time I've had the opportunity to do that, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with you today. Now, it's slightly more complicated than the normal recipes we've done, so get ready, you'll be fine. We'll do it step by step and the results are really worth it. It's a really special treat, perfect for Friday celebrations or just for celebrating in general. There's lots of things to be happy about amidst all the rain. So you will need the following ingredients. Half of a cooking apple. It's huge, isn't it? It's huge. If you don't have a cooking apple, don't worry, you can use a normal apple as well. I just happen to have some in. So half of a cooking apple. Then for the crumble part, you'll need 25 grams of butter, 35 grams of sugar, and 45 grams of flour. Later on, we'll be using 100 grams of raspberries. So that's quite a lot of raspberries, but it really makes it something really special. Then for the cake part, we will need 50 grams of soft butter. So it could be real butter or it could be something like stork. Then we're going to need half an egg. I'll talk about how to do that a bit later. We're going to need 80 grams of sugar and then 140 grams of self-raising flour. And finally, 65 millilitres of milk. I'll put all the ingredients in the description at the end so you know exactly what you need. And I definitely recommend having everything ready to go before you start. You're also going to need one large mixing bowl, one small mixing bowl, a saucepan, and a cake tin. Now I've got a round cake tin for mine. It's about 6 inches wide, but if you had a rectangular one or a square one, about the width of your hand, then that would be fine as well. Just make sure it's well lined. Okay, so we've got our ingredients. I've said who I am. We need to sing our song. Now, I don't know about you, but there's many things in life that make me happy. And one of the things that really makes me happy is music. And when I used to live in Canada, I once heard somebody singing on the guitar, and it was so beautiful. When I came back to England, the first thing I did after my summer of fruit picking was buy this beautiful guitar. And it's been with me ever since. So that's, 13 years now. Gosh, time flies, doesn't it? So let's sing our Bunny Baker's song with my guitar to help us. You're going to have to remember the actions, okay? Here we go. Ready? Welcome to Little Bunny Bakers. It's nice to see you here today. We're going to have a lot of fun baking. So come on, let's bake. Hooray! Well done, everybody. That was lovely. Okay, pop that down. Right, here we go. Are you ready? Rosie Rabbit, are you ready? Brilliant. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to start by cutting our apple in half. Grown-ups, you might want to help your children do this because apples can be quite tricky. But if you're a little bit older, you can have a go at slicing it down the middle. And at this point, you also need to ask a grown-up to turn your oven onto 180 degrees. So ask a grown-up to turn your oven onto 180 degrees. Right, so we now have 2 halves of apple. You can keep one half for a little bit of art later or some more cooking. And what we want to do with the half that we have is get rid of the skin. So you can either use a knife, holding it steady and cutting it downwards. But that does tend to take off a little bit of the flesh as well. Or with the help of a grown-up, you can use a peeler. So I'm just going to carefully peel the skin off my apple. grown-ups baking with little ones, you might want to do this step before you do everything else, so they're not waiting for too long. There we go. So we want the skin peeled, and then what we'd like to do, pop that in a imaginary bowl over there, is we're going to slice the apple. So we're going to hold it steady with one hand, and with the other hand we're going to saw back and forth so we get lots of slices. I always think knives are a little bit like trains, though I suppose trains don't often go backwards. Now, when you get to a point that you can't really move your fingers back anymore, then just spin it round to the other side. There we go. Now, you should have an array of slices, and some of them might still have the core in the middle where the pits are, so you can just cut that off. I'll have a grown-up help you cut that off. So all we have are lots of lovely apple slices. There we go, I'll put this in my bowl over here. So what we want to do now is you can either carry on cutting the apple into little slices. We want them pretty small. We're going to pop those into a saucepan, or you can snap them in half with your hand. There we go. We want them to be fairly small, so make sure you snap them, and you might need to snap them again. So whichever way you like to get them into the pan nice and small. There we go. Oh, it's quite pleasing snapping them with your hands actually. You could do a bit of tower cutting if you're practicing your knife skills. So you could make a tower of 2 bits of apple, hold them steady, and then cut them at the same time. That is how it's done very, very quickly. There we go, I've got a couple of bits left. As I said earlier, when I was younger, I lived in Canada for a while, and when I came back from Canada, I lived in Kent, which is often called the Garden of England, because it has lots of lovely things growing there. And one of the things that grows is apples. So I spent a very fun summer picking apples and pears on a local farm. It was very interesting. I've never eaten so many apples and pears in my life. And often apples grow in pairs or threes, they grow together. So to pick them you have to be very gentle so they don't bruise. So you hold them underneath and you gently twist them back and forth like you're opening a door, and then you roll them off. And we have these satchels that you wear around your waist, and you gently put them in your satchel, and when your satchel, your bucket is full, then you go to a large sort of wooden crate and you carefully open it, and then they tumble out. But you have to be very gentle so they don't bruise. Okay, so we've got our half an apple in a saucepan. So you now need to ask a grown-up to add a tablespoon of water and to gently simmer that for a few minutes just to make the apples a little bit softer. So I'm just going to get my water. So just a tablespoon or so. I'm going to pop that on my hob over here. Just for a few minutes at a simmer so they can soften. Okay, well done everybody, that's part 1 ticked off. Do you remember I said at the beginning there were 5 parts? Well, we've done part 1, so thumbs up, well done everybody. Okay, part number 2 is making the crumble topping. So clear your deck. A good cook is a tidy cook, so move everything else that you don't need out of the way. You're going to need your small bowl now, and what we want to do is start by pouring your flour into the bowl. Make sure it's the flour that you've measured out for the crumble, not for the cake. So 45 grams of flour. And then we're going to get our butter. Now I've already cut my butter into long slices. And that means I can just use my fingers now to pinch them and pop them into the bowl like so. There we go. Now, with our paws, which I hope you've all washed before you started cooking, we're going to become treasure hunters. So instead of butter, this is no longer butter. This is gold. And the gold is going to hide in the flour. So tap it around so you can't see it anymore. And then what we want to do is we want to find a lump of gold. And then we're going to pinch it and break it in half and drop it back in with our hands and start again. So we're going to pinch and pull. A little bit like pirates. Oh, that reminds me of a pirate song. I think it goes like this. When I was one, I banged a drum. The day I went to sea, I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards and backwards over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to warm my tum, and that's the life for me. La 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 la. When I was 2, I buckled my shoe the day I went to sea. I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards and backwards over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to warm my tum, and that's the life for me. La 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 la. When I was 3, oh, what rhymes with 3? I climbed an apple tree. The day I went to sea, I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards and backwards over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to warm my tum, and that's the life for me. There we go. So your lumps should be getting nice and small now. So what we want to do now is we want to get our present hands ready. So we put them out like this, but like when we get a present, and we say, thank you very much. Can you say it with me? Thank you very much. Well done. So we're going to use our present hands. We're going to put them in the bowl, lift up a little bit of the flour and butter, and using our thumbs, we're going to rub them back in. We're going to push them back in. We're not squeezing, we're rubbing. So we're just pushing them back in with a little bit of pressure on our hands. So we pick a little bit up and we rub it back in. There we go. Should we keep singing the pirate song while we do this? Where did we get to? Number 4. When I was 4, I slept on the floor. The day I went to sea, I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards and backwards over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to warm my tum, and that's the life for me. La 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 la. When I was 5, I tickled a fly. The day I went to sea, I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards and backwards over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to warm my tum, and that's the life for me. Hooray! Okay, so by now, your crumble should have changed colour and become a slightly more yellow colour and be lumpy, just like this. Okay, and so into that lumpy mix, we're going to add our sugar and just give it a little gentle toss with your hands. Lovely. Okay, well done everybody. We have finished step 2. We chopped our apple, we made our crumble topping, and now it's time to make the cake. So, clear your space again. Make sure you have everything you need ready. Pop them all here. And you could go and wash your paws. I'm just going to carry on to save time, but I'll just clear them a bit there. Right. So, I've got a large mixing bowl now, and I'm very excited to share for the very first time my new Little Bunny Baker's spoon. Look at this. Oh, it might be back to front in there. How sweet is that? Look at that. Rosie Rabbit is famous. Very exciting to have my logo on a spoon. Very fun. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get the butter, pop that in. Then we're going to add to the butter our sugar. And then we want to give it a nice mix so it's all blended together. Now you can stir and stir and stir, but to make it blend together, you need to do a little bit of smooshing. Do you remember what smooshing is? That's right, it's squashing it on the side of the bowl. So we hold our spoon right at the base, we hold our bowl with the other hand, and we press and pull, press and pull. And as we press and pull, the butter and sugar will blend together. Notice how I turn my bowl around every couple of scrapes. That's to make sure I get all of the lovely butter included. There we go. So all of your sugar should have disappeared now, and you should just have a lovely creamy buttery sugar mix. If it sticks to the top of your spoon, just scrape it off again, no problem. And give it a little mix so it's nice and combined. Now to that we want to add our milk a little bit at a time. So I'd say we want to add half and then the other half. So I'm going to pour in about half and gently mix. The butter and milk may separate at this time and go a bit lumpy. That's okay, just keep mixing and it should come back together. If it doesn't, don't worry, when we put the flour in, it will all bind together again. So a little mix, you could do a little twizzle. You all like a little bit of twizzle in a cooking. There we go. And when that's all blended, you can add the other little bit of your milk. And again, gently mix that in. Oh yeah, mine's separating here. That's okay. Now, we need 30 grams of egg because we are making half the quantity of a very large tray bake. So, what you need to do is with some electric scales or some non-electric scales, we're going to turn them on and make sure they say 0. Then we're going to crack our egg into the bowl. So I hold it nice and snug, tap it to crack it, then turn it over and open it like a book with your thumbs. Listen for the crunch. Did you hear it? Tap it to crack it, turn it over and open it with your thumbs. There we go. Now, before we can measure any more, it's really important that you mix the white and the yolk together. So just with a fork, give it a little mix round so it's all blended. While we're on the subject of eggs, does anybody know where eggs come from? That's right, they come from chickens. So while you mix, we can sing the chicken song. Chick, 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 chicken. Lay a little egg for me. Chick, 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 chicken. I'd like one for my tea, because I haven't had an egg since breakfast, and now it's 3:30, so chick, 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 chicken, lay a little egg for me. Okay, so I've mixed my egg, and what we're going to do now is put the whole mixing bowl on the scales, make sure it says 0, and then very slowly and very carefully, we want to measure 30 grams of egg. If you're a little bit unsure, measure it into something else. In fact, change of plan, let's do that. Let's measure it into our empty milk cup, just in case we get it wrong. So, slowly goes it. Touch more. There, lovely. And I'll save the rest of the egg for something later to cook with. So I've got 30 grams of egg, and I'm going to pour all of that into my mix and give it a good old stir. Now at this point it really will start looking rather lumpy. Don't panic, we're going to be adding the flour very soon. So just mix it as well as you can. You could do fast mixing, really, really fast, or slow mixing, or fast mixing, really, really fast, or slow mixing. And then we just want to shake in our flour as we go. So all of that lovely flour, and then just gently mix it all together. I am so excited for this to be ready. Here we go, so I'm mixing that in. It's going to get quite hard. My arms are feeling a little bit tired, all of this mixing, but keep going. You're doing so well. We're on step 3 of our recipe now. Step 3, 3 of 5, but we are almost there. There we go. Now, to make sure all of the mixture from the side is in the middle, you can just scrape down around the side of your bowl with your spoon like this. There we go. So then it's all in the middle, a little bit like a sunshine. Okay, so part 4, here we go. Well done, everybody. We're going to get whatever you're baking it in and pop it in front of you. Make sure there is some sort of lining around your tin. It could be baking parchment or reusable parchment. I've got a mix of both today. And then what we want to do is very carefully, you might want someone to hold the bowl while you scrape. We're going to scrape our mix right into the middle of our dish. There we go, and then you can just try and make sure you get all of that lovely mix into the dish. And if you have a spatula, here's one I will get, that would be perfect, just to make sure you get all of that lovely mix into the pan. There we go, so scrape it off your spoon and scrape round the bowl. There we go. No mixture left behind, I say. There we go. Now, what we want to do next is with a knife or a spoon, you just want to gently spread it around very carefully so it reaches the side. I sort of tap mine and push it at the same time so it stretches out. You need a little bit of patience for this bit, but I'm sure you have lots of patience, so that's good. You're all being very helpful at home, helping everybody with the housework, keeping your toys tidy, saying please and thank you. I hope so. There we go. So I've flattened mine out, and what I'm going to do now is we're going to move on to the final step, step 5. We have made it, hooray! So I'm going to get my crumble topping ready and my strawberries, or raspberries rather, at the ready. And what we want to do to finish is we're going to get the raspberries and we're going to push them in to the mix. So you just pop them in and give them a little wiggle with your finger all over your lovely cake mix. I wonder how many raspberries makes 100 grams. Can you have a guess? How many do you think is 100 grams? I would say maybe 20. I'm guessing they're a bit less than 5 grams each. I wonder how many I have here. I'll pop the last ones in and then I'll count them and we can find out. Right, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25. Oh, 25 raspberries in 100 grams. So how much, a bit of maths for you older ones, how much does 1 raspberry weigh? If 25 raspberries weigh 100 grams, how much does 1 raspberry weigh? That's right, it's 4 grams, because 100 divided by 25 is 4, or 4 25s go into 100. Okay, so we've got our lovely cake with those lovely raspberries on top. And then just to finish, we're going to sprinkle that lovely crumble mix on top. Nice and even all over, so there's a good layer that covers all of the raspberries and cake. I am so impressed that you've got to this point. This is a big recipe, but I promise you it's worth it. Once they are done, this is such a treat. So here we go. That is going to go into the oven for 40 minutes. And after 40 minutes, if you ask a grown-up to put it in the oven for you, after 40 minutes, if you ask your grown-up to take it out of the oven and check, just make sure when you put a knife or a skewer inside, it comes out clean, so that shows us it's cooked. Then once it's cooked, you're going to remove it from its case. And I find the easiest way, if you have a case that has a bottom that moves up and down, is to get a cup, and once it's cool, to place it on top of the cup, and it should slide out. I won't do it properly now because obviously I haven't cooked mine and I don't want it to fall everywhere. But well done everybody. I'm so happy that you joined me today for Let's Bake Raspberry and Apple Crumble Slice. We had guitar at the beginning. We've got Rosie Rabbit here. And Rosie, what have you got? What's Rosie got? Oh, that's exciting. Rosie's got a box with a star in it. Can you see the star in the corner? What is it, Rosie? Rosie says it's a celebration box. It's a picnic box, a bunny box. And inside there are lots and lots of treats. There are sandwiches and sausage rolls and little nibbles of fruit and vegetables. Oh, there's chocolate brownie and chocolate marshmallows on a stick. And little gingerbread icing stars as well. Oh, and a drink. Wow, how exciting. If you would like a bunny box to celebrate one day or celebrate this Friday on VE Day, then just ask your grown-ups to let me know. One of my favourite things in the box are these little wands with some bubbles. Ah, good fun. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Saskia, this is Little Bunny Bakers. If you've enjoyed my video today, I'd love to see pictures of what you've made, and I'd also really appreciate a small donation to my GoFundMe page. Thank you. Let's finish with the song. Little Bunny Bakers, we've had some fun, we've baked a lot, now it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye everybody. Hope everybody's safe and happy and well, and I will see you all soon.